let's talk about something we all go through, but maybe in a way we haven't really considered before. We're going to try and reframe one of the toughest parts of life, failure, and see it not as an ending, but as a signal.
So what is failure? It sounds like a simple question, right? But the answer feels so personal. It's that project that just didn't pan out, that conversation you keep replaying in your head, that one goal that was right there and then slipped away. We all know that feeling.
And our first instinct, almost always, is to label it a bad outcome, a total dead end. It becomes this thing we should be ashamed of, something to hide away or, just try to forget entirely. We treat it like it's the final word on what we tried to do. But what if it's not an ending at all? Here's a completely different way to look at it. Instead of a judgment, of it being good or bad, failure is just information. It's the visualization of something called a gradient. Okay, so what on earth is a gradient? Well, just think of it as a gap, a measurable difference. In this case, it's the space that just opened up between the world you expected to see and the world as it actually is. The failure isn't the gap itself, it's the thing that makes you see the gap. It's just data.
So let's build on that. Let's look at where these errors even come from in the first place, because whether they're happening in some advanced AI or inside our own heads, they actually show us something really important about the hidden structures we're running on.
This is such a fascinating comparison. When an AI hallucinates, when it gives you a confidently wrong answer, it isn't because it's just broken. It's because its internal model saw a pattern, and based on all its data, it just extended it a little too far. It overcompleted the pattern. Well, a human mistake is pretty much the same thing. Our own internal model of the world, our beliefs, our assumptions, it overcompletes a pattern based on what we think we know.
So why do our models get it wrong? Well, it could be a bunch of things. Maybe it's a faulty assumption we've just never thought to question, or it could be a cognitive bias, one of those mental shortcuts that ends up leading us astray. A lot of the time, it's just an outdated internal map. We're trying to navigate a brand new city with a 10-year-old map, and then we're shocked when we run into a dead end. Or, hey, maybe we just don't have the mental bandwidth to process everything, so our brain just takes its best guess.
And this really gets to the heart of it. The error isn't some moral failing or a personal defect. It's a neutral signal. It's kind of like a light flashing on your car's dashboard, just saying, hey, the map you're using doesn't seem to match the road you're on anymore.
So, this is the really crucial part. If failure is just a signal, then what do we do about it? And this is where we get a choice. We can respond with judgment, or we can respond with inquiry.
Our default setting is almost always judgment. This was good, that was bad, I succeeded, I failed. We just rush to slap a label on the outcome. And the second we do that, something really important just shuts down. We lose that recursive spiral of learning. That's just a fancy way of saying that whole beautiful process of trying something, seeing what happens, updating our thinking, and then trying again. The moment we stamp the outcome as bad and turn our backs, that spiral grinds to a halt. And the chance to create something new from it, it's gone. But there's another path. Instead of judging, we can get curious. It's a pretty simple process, but it's powerful. First, just for a moment, suspend that need to decide if it was good or bad. Just let it be. Then, play detective. Pinpoint exactly where things went off track. Where did the mismatch happen? Third, ask the really big question. What assumption of mine led to this? Which part of my mental map is out of date? And finally, you just observe. Take a look at the hidden structure that the error has just made visible for you. When we do this, we're shifting from a place of finality to a place of possibility. Reading the structure that failure shows us, that's the real start of creation, of growth.
I think this is such a great way to put it. When everything goes perfectly, we just glide right over the surface. We don't really learn anything about the terrain underneath. But failure? Failure creates friction. It's that bump in the road that makes you pull over and actually look at the map. It shows you the contours, the boundaries, the hidden shape of your own thinking. So an error isn't a bug that we need to fix or delete. Maybe it's better to think of it as a signal that the system, whether that's you or your team or a project, is ready for what's called a phase transition. It's an indicator that you're on the verge of a really big shift, a leap to a whole new level of understanding. And that brings us to the biggest takeaway here. Failure isn't the end. It is the moment of revelation. It's when the things we can't normally see,
Our assumptions, our models, our hidden beliefs suddenly become visible. And it's only when you can see the structure that you can even begin to change it.
So I'll just leave you with this question to carry with you. In your own life, your own work, where is there a chance to just hit pause, to suspend that automatic judgment of good or bad, and instead, just for a little while, try to read the signal? What structure might be there, just waiting for you to see it?